I just read an article about New Jersey buybacks for guns. And the article that I read was clearly a biased article because it was digging into Governor Christie, who's a Republican, about how he hasn't, passed these effective laws in New Jersey to stop gun violence, right? And I'm so sick of the intellectual dishonesty of these anti-gunners, especially in the state of New Jersey. Now, do I see any reason not to support a buyback program? No. Because if people want to come in, they want to give up their guns, and get money for it, $250 for it. Damn, that's some serious lightning. That's some serious lightning. If they want to get $250 for it, I'm like, so be it. Not a big deal, right? But what really pisses me off, and is just so intellectually dishonest about all these buybacks, like when they have these these buyback things set up. What's really intellectually dishonest about it is that they always show these photos with these, police officers standing there in uniform, and they got the police commissioner up there from Camden or Patterson or Trenton or Newark, right? And they're just sitting there, and we got, 1,200 guns off of the streets, right? Depending on what city it is, right? And when you look at the pictures of the guns, right, they got all these, wooden stock, grandpa-looking rifles, single chambered breech action shotguns that nobody's getting killed with or assaulted with in New Jersey. Then they got what else? What else do they got? Then they got the lever action guns. When's the last time? Let's go with the stereotype. When's the last time you had a bunch of gangsters shooting at each other with lever action rifles? I just picture just two black guys in a car in Camden, two drug dealers. They drive by, they see their rival gang member, and he's like, "Break yourself, fool!" And he's trying to get this 16-inch barreled lever action gun out the window, and can't get it out the window because he can't get it over his seatbelt. Break yourself, fool! Cowboy style. I'm like, oh my God, these people are the people who are bringing guns in. You have people who they just want the $250. And they're bringing in guns that they could have stole from grandpa. We're sitting there, rusted out bore. These guns wouldn't even be useful even if they attempted to use them. And they have all these wooden rifles, all these outdated, 1909 type of guns. That nobody's using in homicides, nobody's using in crime, but yet the police officers and the commissioners and everybody else will stand there, and the politicians will stand there with their chest out and we've just reduced the number of violent crime because we've gotten these guns that are used in less than 1% of all crimes in the state of New Jersey off the streets. I mean, even in the article, it says that only 15% of the guns were illegal. And even of the 15% that were illegal, just because the guns are illegal or if people possess them illegally, does not mean that they will be used in an illegal act or an illegal crime. They just assume they're illegal, so illegal means that it has to be used in a crime. It may eventually be used in a crime. I won't take that off the table, but I'm saying it's just the idea that simply because a gun in the state of New Jersey is illegally possessed means that it's going to be used illegally. And I'm like, again, please direct me to all the drive-by shootings with old cowboy Winchesters. Please show them to me. And then let's get over to the handguns. Then you get over to the handguns. Now, that's the guns that people are actually going to use in crime, handguns. And then they show the handguns, and it's all these old, super, what's that gun called? The Mosin Nagant revolver, 1891 revolver, and I'm like, how many of these guns work? You got people coming to you. You might have a drug dealer walking right in there saying, these 3 guns broke, so I might as well sell them and get $350 a piece. And then here's the stupid part. They come in and they bring in their broke guns. You give them $250 a piece for their broke guns, right? So I get 3 guns. You give me $250 a piece for these broke guns. And then what do? I go back out on the street, back to the black market, and then I get a newer, more modern gun, something like a Ruger P89 or a Ruger P90 or a Ruger P95, which are very popular, or a Smith & Wesson SD40, which is another cheap gun Smith & Wesson makes that you can purchase for $350, right? In a person on the street, they might pay a little bit of a premium, but they just gave you 2 broke guns. You gave them $250 a piece for the broke guns. Now they got $500. And then what do? Now they take the $500 and they go and they pay $400 for that gun that's probably, that brand new modern gun that's probably only worth $300 or $350. So you've actually made it easier for them to actually go get effective firearms, off the black market because you're giving them cash for it. It would kind of make sense if you weren't giving them cash, you were giving them, coupons or gift certificates to Best Buy or something, and I know that there's been states that do that, but if you're giving these people cash, and I'm saying if you want to criminalize them and say all the people that are coming in are criminals, even though 15% of your guns that are coming in are illegal, I'm like, well, then you're just giving them more of ability to go out there and buy better guns, while they give you the broke gun and you actually gave them money for it. I'm like, how stupid is this? The way that they're even doing it is stupid. But that's not even the part that bothers me. What bothers me is the intellectual dishonesty of the idea that they're solving crime, by people trading in broken and defunct guns. That's what irritates me. And the police officers, they just stand there with their chest out like they've actually done something. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing how a citizenry, a population, people that aren't too gun enthused in New Jersey because nobody's really hunting or anything like that, but how they can fall for this nonsense. I'm saying just from an intellectual standpoint, just from a common sense standpoint. I'm not even talking about whether you like guns or not. I'm saying they're telling you that this is solving a problem. You know what I mean? Or that it's 1,000 times more effective, than it really is. Even if they acknowledge, they say, look, this isn't a magic wand and it's not going to solve everything. But I'm saying the way that they're sitting there, with their chest out, talking about we've got these guns off the street from drug addicts, domestic abusers, so they got to throw that one in there. And who else? What else did they say? And children that shouldn't have access, to these guns. And again, I got to ask the question, like, how many of them work? How many of these guns work? It's like it's like the state uses taxpayer money to buy up these guns so that they can have a photo shoot and then tell everybody, look how many guns we got off the street. And then it's never stated that the good law-abiding people, they may need a gun. It's never stated that, thank God for the law-abiding citizen that has a gun and was able to defend his family before the cops could get there. Because that's the reality of any situation when something goes down. Cops respond to events. They're not. This isn't Minority Report. This isn't like, they're sitting somewhere, reading people's brain waves and whatnot, and then they show up, 30 seconds before somebody was about to get killed. That's not how the world works. But New Jersey, no carry, you can't carry, they got these blighted areas, Patterson, Newark, Camden, because there's no economic opportunities in those environments. You got the narcotics trade. I mean, that's where all the violence is coming from. You know, one minute everybody wants to, they want to act like, oh, these lives are being lost. All these lives are being lost. Like they actually care. But then in the same breath, they'll turn around and say, well, it's just, black people blowing away black people, or drug dealers blowing away drug dealers. Because that's where the vast majority of these homicides are coming from. Drug dealers blowing away drug dealers. Because they got turf wars going on. And every once in a while, you may have a sad story where, some child gets hit, a stray bullet hits a child because they're shooting back at each other. And that's totally unacceptable. I get it. Nobody wants that to happen. But, just the whole approach to guns in New Jersey is just outright wrong. It's just outright wrong. The people who need the protection the most within their own, impoverished communities, they can't get that protection. They're terrorized by the people that get the guns illegally. They can't do anything to defend themselves or fight back. They try to act like the police are going to save and fix everything. And the police are not. And they know that they're not. But they act like getting these old, outdated guns off the street, we're cleaning things up. I'm like, but show me the Glock on the table. Show me the Glock 19 on the table. Show me the XDM on the table. Show me the XD on the table. Show me the Smith & Wesson M&P on the table. They can't show me those guns. They can only show me, old broken revolvers, old broken Lorsons. That's all they can show you. They get guns on the table with the cylinders not even in it. And I'm like, what is somebody going to do with that? Oh, well, we gave them $250 because, it's another gun off the street. I'm like, it doesn't have a cylinder. It's just so stupid. It's so stupid the way that we have people who are supposed to be educated and have degrees and so intelligent, and I went to this university and all this other stuff, and just how utterly retarded they can be when it comes to, reasonable gun laws and reasonable gun control. And the reasonable gun laws is not in the extreme direction that they like to talk about. Reasonable gun laws to them is a ban on all guns. Where reasonable gun laws is laws that don't affect the law-abiding people and only affect the criminals. Meaning, in New Jersey, all the laws should basically say, take every law in New Jersey and all you got to do is slap one clause on it to make it work to where it should be. 15-round magazine, you don't have to say ban all magazines above 15 rounds. No, just sit there and say, it is illegal to use a 15-round magazine, anything above a 15-round magazine, in the commission of a crime. And I'll tell you why even that's stupid, because it's illegal to use a firearm, period, in the commission of a crime. Right? If you already have a law that says that, why tack on other shit that's like, it's like the coup de grace, of like finishing moves. You know what I mean? It's like, why? Like, why have that on there? What is that? Just to give them more time? All you got to do is just give them more time from the jump. You know what I mean? Like what is the point of going? So here's how you break it down. It is. So this is what Jersey does. Instead of just going, okay, here we got a gentleman that used a gun in the commission of a crime and killed the store clerk. He's getting charged with murder, which is 20 years, and then he's getting charged with using a gun in the commission of a crime, which is another, 15 years, right? So you got two things right there. But what Jersey does is this stupid ass thing where it's like, okay, you're charging him with murder, then you're charging him with using a gun in the commission of a crime, then you charge him with using a magazine that exceeds 15 rounds. You get what I'm saying? So you're adding like another 5 years on there. And I'm like, well, why don't you just make the sentence bigger? Why don't you make the first sentence bigger? I mean, if murder isn't bad enough, you either get, life in prison or you get 25 to life. Or you get consecutive, life sentences or whatever it may be. I don't get the whole, let's create these laws on the books to what? So we can further incarcerate people and put them in jail by adding a technicality to the crime that they already committed to make it more severe. And I'm like, well, all that's doing is affecting all the law-abiding people, because now I can't use anything above a 15-round magazine. And I don't plan on going out here and committing a crime. So why can't I have, a 20-round magazine or a 30-round magazine or a 100-round magazine? Why can't I have that? Right? Nobody who's ever been attacked or ever been assaulted or ever had invaders in their house or ever had an attempted rape was saying, oh, please, Lord, let me have less bullets. And then there's that misnomer that, everybody's this, it's funny because in one argument you'll have the anti-gunners who will say, that people are inaccurate with their guns and they can't hit anything, right? But then in another argument, because people say only trained police officers should have firearms. Only trained police officers, right? Because only trained police officers have the marksmanship to shoot, accurately at the people that they're trying to shoot at, right? But then you hear all this stuff about cops missing and, like the situation in New York where they hit a whole bunch of bystanders. Yeah, there's your trained police officers who only qualify like once a year, right? You got citizens that can shoot better than some of these police officers out here. Quiet as it's kept, But then, in another argument, they'll after sitting there and saying only trained police officers, can shoot, they'll find, the justification for, why a person shouldn't have more bullets. Well, I'm like, well, if you believe that only trained police officers have the marksmanship, then when it comes to a civilian trying to defend themselves, don't you think they would need more bullets? Hello? Don't you think they would need more bullets? I mean, oh my God. I can't take this, I can't even think of the word right now. Just how stupid, utterly stupid. The way the way that people come up with their logic, just completely broken logic, just completely broken, all they got to do is take the laws and sit there and slap in the commission of a crime on it. It is illegal to have, a firearm on school grounds in the commission of a crime. It is illegal to, transport a firearm in New Jersey in the commission of a crime. It is illegal to have a firearm on your person in the commission of a crime. All you got to do is just slap in the commission of your crime, give people their Second Amendment rights, and then there you have it. You're not letting anybody who illegally uses firearms off the hook. You see what I'm saying? You're not letting them off the hook. Because if they commit a crime with their firearm, then you throw the book at them. But in New Jersey, as we see with, Miss Shannon Allen, they throw the book at everybody. They don't even distinguish between law-abiding people and criminals. They just throw the book at them. Because guns are evil, and if they dare, appreciate guns, they must be evil too. Throw the book at them. I'm telling you. I'm done with Jersey. I'm just done with Jersey. Jersey is, it's just retarded. It's utterly retarded. And they've done nothing to address any of the crimes that exist in New Jersey, in Paterson, in Newark, in Trenton. Again, as I've stated numerous times, New Jersey used to be a manufacturing base. It used to be a manufacturing base where things were made and produced and everything. Once you take out, the factory jobs, the manufacturing, and you don't replace it with anything, what you see currently is what you're going to get. If you don't bring back jobs for the majority of those people who, when they graduate college, they have something to walk into where they can live and support their family with dignity, then what you see in these urban centers is what you're going to get. But instead, you get the other people that want to be intellectually dishonest and blame it on the culture or blame it on those people and all this other stuff, instead of sitting there and recognizing things were better when people were working, things were better when people had jobs, and then those jobs left, and then those jobs went overseas, and then the drugs came in, and then all these problems were created that spiraled out of control and you have no control over. And now you got people living in areas, where, they were born into the situation. They didn't do anything wrong. They were just simply born into the situation, and they can't even legitimately defend themselves. The good people that live in these urban environments, they can't even defend themselves. I'm like, isn't this, God, you gotta love America. I mean, you really gotta love it, in all of its hypocrisy and stupidity. People, it's like, I don't know, maybe our public schools aren't educating people enough or forcing people to be intellectually honest, as opposed to, having some agenda because of some arbitrary fear. I'm going to tell you what people don't like about guns in this period. It's across the board. Okay? What the people who don't like guns, what they don't like about guns is they don't like the idea or the fact of any human being having the power of God to take another life if they so choose. Even if there is no intent to do that. They do not like that idea. They don't want to sit next to somebody who has that type of power. They're running around with their buckets of benevolence like, well, I would never do something like that, so I don't want a gun. So that's their mentality. But because they don't want a gun, they don't want you to have a gun. That's all it comes down to. That's all it comes down to. You know what I mean? Damn the Second Amendment. Damn tyranny. Damn being able to defend yourself. It's not about that with them. They don't like the idea that somebody can, get pissed off, be a law-abiding citizen, and tomorrow they snap because somebody called them a name, and then they go and they shoot the place up, and then they end up dead, or one of their loved ones end up dead. That's their biggest fear. Okay? So their attitude is, well, if we just get rid of all guns, then that'll be the end of it. But they're not looking at the reality of the situation. In terms of, criminals are going to continue to have guns. They're not looking at the reality of the situation is like that's not going to stop all violence. You're still going to have, just like in the UK, they got massive amounts of stabbings. If somebody wanted to kill you at work, if you piss me off, and let's say I don't have a gun, I can't get a gun. The state of New Jersey denies me a gun. There's nothing stopping me from grabbing a knife and walking up behind you while you're sitting at your computer and stabbing the shit out of you. There's nothing stopping me from attacking you. There's nothing stopping another human being from attacking another human being. Then you get into the whole probability of chances and, well, you have a better chance of survival without a gun. If you have a gun, then there's little chances less, and they can hurt more people, and this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 blah. And then you have the pro-gunners that want to make the bomb arguments. We're like, look at Timothy McVeigh, So then it goes this whole back and forth and whatnot. But seriously speaking, the most important thing about the Second Amendment, is defense against tyranny. That's the most important thing. That's not even arguable. Okay? Whether people should be able to defend themselves in and outside of their home, which we live in a world where shit can go down anywhere, any place, anytime, anyhow. So I don't see why anybody wouldn't want to be able to defend themselves. And I notice that a lot of people are anti-gun until they find themselves in a situation where they want to defend themselves, but then they were so anti-gun that they've helped put in place all these restrictive laws that when they need a gun, they can't get one. Then they got freaking the criminals out there getting them out by popping the trunk. Even in countries with the most restrictive gun laws, they still have people getting shot. Criminals can get guns when they want to get guns, but why would you make it more difficult for law-abiding people to get them? Make the penalty stiffer for people who steal guns. Make the penalty stiffer for people who traffic guns. Make the penalty stiffer for people who do straw purchases. Personally, if you ask me, if somebody does a straw purchase, and then that gun is tracked to the person that did the straw purchase, then whatever crime was committed by the person that did the illegal act that got the gun through the straw purchase should serve the same amount of time as the person that did the criminal act. Or the straw purchaser should do the same amount of time as the person that did the criminal act. So if the criminal does kill somebody and they get life in prison, the straw purchaser should get life in prison. To let everybody know that we're not fucking around. Seriously. That would end straw purchases right there. I mean, don't they have this in other states? Like if you go and you rob somebody, you wanted to steal their car. You didn't have any weapon. You didn't try to kill them. I remember there was a story where a girl, some guy tried to steal her car and then she wouldn't let the car go and she jumped up on the hood, trying to be, Jet Li. She up on the hood, and they swerved and she fell off the car, banged her head, and she ended up dying. And they charged the guy with murder. Okay, they charged him with murder, even though he just wanted the car. He had no intent of killing the girl. He just, get off the car, bitch, I'm trying to steal this shit. And she fell off and hit her head and she died. Okay, and they charged him with homicide, as should be done. And I'm saying they should treat straw purchases the same thing. Go ahead and straw purchase at your own risk. That's how it should be. But it's not like that. Instead, it's punish the law-abiding people across the board. Just the sweeping hand of God. That's what we're going to do. And I'm like, what does that do? It doesn't do anything but remove the rights from the people, that should be able and have the right to defend themselves. Especially when it comes to, the ideas and concepts of tyranny. I love the arrogance of Americans. We need to ban assault weapons. Oh, we need to ban them. And then when you go over to other countries, right, like Iran, Egypt, Syria, Iraq, right, China, and you see how, like, the government comes down with the iron fist. People, this can't happen here. This won't happen here. African Americans don't think like that because we've experienced that. We've experienced, authorities coming down on us with the wrath of God. When we go out there and we try to protest, and the next thing you know, people are getting beat up by the police officers, shot by the police officers, fire hoses, dogs, all that. So black people have experienced that. But see, the problem is again, as I've always said, white people, they haven't really felt the full wrath of that. They got a little bitch slapped when it came to Occupy Wall Street, but they haven't really felt the full effects of police officers coming out there with full body armor and MRAPs and all that other stuff. They haven't really felt that. And I'm like, maybe when you feel that, then maybe you'll wake up and you'll be like, oh damn. If the police just lose it, we have no way of defending ourselves. If the government calls martial law or something, like, we have no way of defending ourselves. But people, that would never happen. That would never happen. Yeah, just like a bunch of Arabs hijacking a plane with some box cutters and slamming that shit into two buildings would never happen, right? That was just Hollywood. That's like Independence Day, Will Smith type of stuff. That'll never happen. Yeah, okay. I direct you to ground zero. But I mean, people just they live in their little safe box. And I don't even need to get into the racial components of that, but they live in a nice little safe box. It's so wonderful and nice here, and nothing negative can ever happen. And if we just ban guns and everything, everybody will just hold hands and sing Kumbaya, and we'll be like the Who's in Whoville. Right? And I'm like, okay, keep thinking that. It's just stupid the way, and I don't know, and that's why I hate about the Democratic Party, because they let the pansies are the ones that they have the biggest voice in the Democratic Party. I think the Republican Party is a bunch of bigots, and white supremacists, but at least they got some balls. They got some huevos, but like the Democrats, oh my God, they pander to everybody, and let's pander to the black people, let's pander to women, let's pander to gays, let's pander to Mexicans, we're the party of everybody, and we need to create this perfect utopia where there's no violence because we don't believe violence should exist. And if we can get rid of all the weapons of violence, then, we can stop the evils of man. They're like a bunch of hippies putting, flowers at the ends of guns with bayonets and shit. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, that bayonet is sharp. You know what I mean? There's nothing stopping, people who want to do ill intent from doing it. You know, you can think that you're stopping them by, you know, we're going in there and we're taking away their rights. And in the process of doing these sweeping take away their rights, you're also taking away the rights of the good people. You know, the very people who, oh, I don't like concealed carry and blah, 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 blah. But if somebody walked into a building and started shooting up the place and you had one of the employees there that was a concealed carry, you know, type of person, and then they shot back and killed the person, you'd be thanking your lucky stars that they saved your ass, you know, and put down evil where it stood. You know, but instead you want to have this false belief that evil people who want to do evil things can't get the tools they need to do evil things. And so you create these sweeping, broad, you know, reforms to where you're denying the ability to, you know, protect, you know, oneself. You know, I mean, the ability to do harm is right next to the ability to defend oneself. You know, so, you know, we'll just get rid of their ability to do harm. And I'm like, and you're also getting rid of good people's ability to defend themselves. Good job. Fantastic. Aren't you the wise one? So stupid. Anyway, that's my video. SWP out.